Uh, this is my dad, my father, King Edward VIII, and this is the third tape, and it is really the third tape. I'm trying to keep more, the best I can here. I wanted to finish this about, and I'm going to turn it around. Well, I'm going to show this. This is Edinburgh HUD that I got in 2006, and it puts me into. Well, first of all, you have to stop what they're doing to me, the poison air and fumes that are put into the rooms. I'm allergic to chemicals. And this has been ongoing. It's sick. Um, I can't call the law. I've put letters up just prior today. I put them up in the past, but you have to filter through it. I couldn't even find them myself. So I put some of them up again. And this is every place I go, except when I did companion aids. And oddly enough, I didn't have any of this happen, and I would attribute that to it would hurt the person I was staying with. To hell with me, though, but, you know, but it didn't happen when I did the live-ins. There weren't any fumes or. Um, I read part of, in accordance to like they're okay, they're obeying the law when it's exactly the opposite. It makes me sound like I'm in the wrong. Um, the board directs you to provide quality, affordable housing to those in most need. Your name has been removed from the waiting list due to your declining an apartment when offered one for the second time. Well, you want to know about that? She took me over. I filled out another application, and it's degrading to go back to and beg for a place again where they've destroyed you anyway, and they should have been arrested and sued. So I go with her, and it was over in the green room. Okay, and it was a cute apartment. The woman had just died, and that. Okay, so I thought, well, I'm going to take this. And then on the hall, of course, you wouldn't get this unless I'd had a recorder, which I didn't. And she actually told me if you come, but nobody could hear it. She says, if you come back here, we'll just do it to you again, is exactly what she said. Now she said, in order, like she's a good guy here, in order to have your name placed back on the waiting list, you will need to contact the Edinburgh Square office to schedule an appointment to fill out a new application, and we will need to re-verify your eligibility. Once your eligibility is established, your name will be placed at the end of the waiting list. Thank you for your interest in Edinburgh. Please contact me at. Now, you wait if they ever prosecute this and they put these people up under oath and they think they're going to get away with it. By the way, I put this woman up because of her part in all this. She lived across from on Mountain Pass Road, and her last name was Castle, and there's a point to this. She had adopted two biological sisters. Their name was Amber and what was the other one's name? It was so important in all this. But then they were biological, and their name was, so I'll just use Amber, and Samantha, was Samantha and Amber Castle Queen. You get the point, and she's the one that comes up on the mountain just before I go out 3 years ago to Scott Hill. What happened on the trail is totally ludicrous what they did to me because somebody stole my money. It's what put me in that position again. And then, so she lived across from the trail, and that's where I live, the Queen. Her last name is Queen. And they got a home, and you wouldn't believe what they got out of all this. But anyway, that's what all is happening. Yeah, I want to connect this, and then I'm going to stop on this. I've given you enough to. I'm always trying to prove what's happened to me when I think everybody knows. Around here, they certainly do, and in Huntsville and Atlanta, I don't. Well, I've been gone a long time from Atlanta, so maybe they've, not. But anyway, the same thing has gone on. This was the first one. Then the second one was Richfield, and then I went over to Joseph's Dream in Bedford County next door, and stayed there 7 months. And oh my God, what happened there? Joseph Stream. And it's my understanding they were brand new and they were nice. It's my understanding, and this is where the one, what's her name? I think her name's Ellis. They still have their jobs. She had, well, oh boy. Um, she showed me how they had a something over behind her desk or across from it in the closet that where you could switch the fumes on and off in whichever apartment they put me in. When I went there, there wasn't that many people, and this was a kind of big complex. It was owned out of Washington, North Carolina, by a black minister, and what was his name? Moore. His name was Moore. Anyway, a person real close to him, it worked for him, secretary, was the daughter of this woman who lived next door to me, and her husband had died. And she's older, of course, and she said she had trophies there. I wondered what she was doing there because obviously she had money. She had a beautiful car, a Volvo sitting there. And she's a black lady, and she told me that her husband had been head of NBC in Chicago in a certain area that was kind of huge, but he had died. So there's a lot that she said that they even called her nuts if she tried to tell some things. Anyway, the point is that if they didn't get me in there and do the things to me, they held up the money, the funding. They couldn't rent to anybody because part of the funding is HUD, and you get the gist on it. Now then, these people they have lied, they've committed crimes, they've kept their retirement. And what they've done to me is assault and battery and every law in the book done because they could get away with it. And, okay, I mentioned Edinburgh. Okay. Oh, back to this, and then I'm going to stop. This Castle Queen, her last name is Queen, Angela Queen. Oh, this is 2015, just prior to going out the first time to Scott Hill. And so evidently HUD has different laws for different people because on one case it was a lie. I'd made arrangements to get my things out of Richfield. That was used against me as a reason to not let me back in. Of course, they didn't say anything about the poison fumes that made me leave. And that was a lie. I did make arrangements, but they used it against me that some of my things were left there, and, well, I couldn't come back. This is after Terry took me out there 2 years ago, and I was okay to go in the other section that was really nice. It wasn't a HUD, so I'll leave it there. I never got in there. I was put on this list down here that you talk about where you ain't going to get it. And I'm going to lose my train of thought here. Anyway, that was used against me there. Now then, from Scott Hill, they went to Salvation Army, which I'm not. I was glad to get it. I shouldn't have to be glad. Look what they're doing to me and who I am. But I was. I've been made a pauper and to beg and plead, and the law's broken. And anyway, she called me, and the last time, and told me that I was going to have to pay for that, so they could. I'd never have a place to live but in the grave, I guess, and they'd destroy that. Well, anyway, they were using there that I left a few things there. And when I left the first time this year there, because it was so bad, they come after me. They call me. What was it she said? Well, they would... anyway, that wasn't used against me. The leaving, I did leave when I left. I left a bed that she gave me. She got out of storage. The lady that called me, this time she's the coordinator, Sherry. And I forgot what she said, that I left a few of my things there. Well, actually, I didn't. Somebody had given me I don't know. I'm not going to go in there. There was a table there and chairs. It might have once belonged to me. But anyway, the point is that they have different rules. And obviously, you can, anybody can just do anything to me, and they're above the law. So I don't have any civil rights, neither do people who have chips put in them. And they go out and commit crimes, and they don't even know that they're committing them, and they're on death row. Scott Peterson is, and Timothy McVeigh was put to death. You've got a list of them. You got a list of people die who simply, people with the knowledge, they can make them commit suicide or get cancer or heart attack or anything they want to do with them. And here your Congress is calling this man that they made a hero out of him. They have placed him up next to God almost, and McCain. And it's what the press, the Illuminati press, can do. And then Aretha Franklin. And don't get mad at me for using Aretha Franklin. I mean, they put her, like, she's a great singer. I admit I liked her. I'm a fan. But I'm telling about all the press that was put on Aretha Franklin, all the people that went there, and McCain. All these last days, that's all you could hear other than the Greyhound being hit. And I've just told you about that, the tractor trailer. And I have copies of the phone calls that I was talking with the person just the night before this happened, and talking about exactly what I put up on here that would prove this if you ever put it up. I don't commit the crimes. I just told about them because I cared. I'm a victim of, I've never had any civil rights. To heck with Selma, Alabama. You get into Martin Luther King, they're tearing down statues of Robert E. Lee. If you tore down something of Martin Luther King, it'd be hell to pay. You'd spend the rest of your life in prison. Martin Luther King knew all about me. My kidnapping, and the whole thing was to take down South Africa, that's British, to gain control of it. And Jimmy Carter, when he was president, appointed Reverend Andrew Young, who was with Martin Luther King when he was shot in Memphis, as UN ambassador. And he spent all that time going to South Africa, and you get Mandela and all that. And now then you've got, and you can piece this together, now then you've got Meghan Markle, nothing against Meghan, but Harry, that lineage is totally fake and should be locked up. But now then they're playing the race card. Before they were married, she was going to South Africa. And I hope they're not taken in by all this, because Elizabeth sold out to the Illuminati. I'm the legal heir. But that's, and I'm telling about Ebola and AIDS that affected South Africa, that was put down there for the reason it's a weapon of war, and who did it. And I was almost killed. It was part of the U.S. Congress Larry McDonald doctor, okay? There was something else I was going to put up, but this whole thing's, unless you put it up there. Oh, let me get this before it goes off. And connect it back. This is on the same tape. The last time I went there, she called me again. And finally, this is years later in 2015. Well, she's got it up here, 2014 is when she wrote the letter. Okay, so anyway, I took this Angela Queen in there with me. So I don't know. It's 15 when this happened. So I must have a letter later. Or a phone call telling me to come out, and she had an apartment ready. And they had an apartment ready at Edinburgh. So I go out there, but this time she tells me the man's in the hospital and he might die, and to come out and look at the apartment. So I took Angela Queen with me. I thought she was kind of a friend at the time. Lived across the street, and I've just told you about her. She goes with me, and I look at the apartment. Well, it's old. Evidently the man has lived there for years and years, and he's not even dead. And so I couldn't possibly, they'd have to redo it. So it was all fake. They can bring me out there, and I brought her Angela as a witness. And turned to find out she wouldn't be a witness for me. I didn't know what she was doing. She stole my phone, too, on Easter okay, or the day before after she brought me a lily pad. Brought me Lily. What kind of person? But anyway, I took her with me. So that was in 2016, and this was just prior to then. Yeah, that I went out to Edinburgh the last time. She showed me the apartment, and it was awful, really. And her thing was, if he died, well, what do you do with it? I keep looking to see if I run out of time, and I had Angela Queen there as a witness, whatever was said, because she's lied in this letter about me. They offered me, and then I didn't take it. Well, no, out in the hallway, she told me where nobody could hear it, walking back from showing it to me, it was in the green room part of Edinburgh, that if I come back, took the room, that the same thing would happen to me. The toxic fumes and soaked, and I'd have to leave all over again. How sweet is that? But I can't prove it unless I'd been recording it, and I wasn't. So here's this letter here, and then must have been a phone call telling me to come out there. I took Angela Queen with me as a witness. Got out there, and she shows me this old apartment. He's in the hospital, and it's, of course, it looks awful because evidently they never remodeled it. And she stepped back when I asked her a question. She said, well, we'll have to redo it and all this, if he dies and you move in. And she stepped back. I don't know why she did, in a certain area, and I thought, is this being filmed or what? And Angela could hear her, though, and she said to me, but if you take it, we'll do all the carpets, clean them with formaldehyde. Now then, formaldehyde has been used in this, and it's deadly. And then it was like I said, what? So anyway, we ended up going back. I thought, well, I'm not taking this either. But see, you wouldn't hear that part of it either. She's threatening me. So we go back up, and we get in her office, and she's got pictures of her son that was a baby when I first went there, and she first became manager. He's got on his suits where he's played, I don't know if it's soccer or what, but he's all suited up, and she had many pictures in her, several in her office, real tidy and everything. And I remember Angela Queen, they had to have known each other. And she's still this sink manager that wrote this letter that's helped do all this to me and should be locked away. Had her son. They've lived a good life. And you tell me what's right about any of this.